Hey gaming fans, so today I have another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile, and this one is Fortune Ladies. This is a deck that I've been playing around with for a while. I mean, I used to build these, or try and build Fortune Lady decks back before we even had some of these better support cards. So, yeah, the deck runs a little bit better now, so let me get to the choices. So, for the first one, we have 3 of the Fortune Lady Past, which really does make this deck work. I'm so glad they actually came out with this card. So basically when this card is, well, its attack and defense are equal to its level times 200, which that's, you know, whatever. But once per turn, during your standby phase, increase this card. So that's pretty typical of all the Fortune Ladies. That's pretty much what they do. Every turn they level up. And then you can target one Fortune Lady monster you control, banish any number of other spellcaster monsters from your hand, field, or graveyard. And if you do, increase or reduce that monster's level by the number of monsters banished until the end of turn, and you can only use the effect once per turn. So really, this is a good card to banish your Fortune Lady Light. And this card was always the challenge because you always needed something to try and banish this card. So Fortune Lady Pass is what does this. So Fortune Lady Light is one of the old ones. And it gains 200 for its level. And keep in mind this is both level 1. But anyways, so you increase the level. And then when this card is removed from the field by a card effect, you could special summon one Fortune Lady monster from your deck. So really good card. And it really gets you to your draw power. So then I put in 2 Fortune Fairy Hikari. I think I said that right. When you draw this card, you could reveal it, special summon it from your hand. If this card is special summoned from your hand, you could target one monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and then special summon one level 1 spellcaster from your deck. So that would pretty much be one of these guys. So depending on which one you don't have, that's the one you search for. So it's a free special summon, and then you can just basically send this to the grave to search out which one you need. And it's a light monster, so we have light and dark going on as well. Then to probably the best of the Fortune Ladies, Fortune Lady Water. This is one of those cards that really is kind of broken in a sense that it can continuously draw you cards because they did not put a hard once per turn on it. Back in the earlier days of Yu-Gi-Oh, they didn't really do that too often. So this card, it also has the level increase by 300, and it increases each turn. But when this card is special summoned, while you control a Fortune Lady monster, you get to draw 2 cards. So all you need is any Fortune Lady on the field, and then you just special summon this card, which is so easy to do. You draw 2 cards. So typically what you'll do is you will get your dark and light guys out, and you banish the light guy, use his effect, get the water out onto the field, and draw 2 cards. So this deck is pretty much all about drawing cards. Then we also have one Fortune Fairy Sui. So this is just a generic, in a sense, special summon of a level 4 monster, just so you can go into some rank plays and stuff like that. So pretty much what this does is when you draw it, you can reveal it, special summon it from your hand, and then you can target one other face-up monster on the field and banish it till the end of the standby phase of your next turn, and you can only use it once per turn. So it could also come into handy if your opponent has some kind of monster on the field that you just need to banish just to go for game or something like that. Then I'm playing more Fortune Ladies, or Fortune Fairies, I should say. Fortune Fairy Anne, which when you draw this card, you can reveal it, special summon it from your hand, and if this card is special summoned from the hand, you can banish one spellcaster monster from your deck. And that also comes in handy because there is ways to draw cards from banished Fortune Ladies, plus there's ways to revive cards from the banish pile. Then I'm playing 3 Fortune Lady Dark. I know this sounds like a lot, but you do really need the darks in this deck. So, and the fact that it's a Fortune Lady, it works well with the deck, and it is kind of a powerhouse. So this card's attack and defense are equal to its level times 400. So, you know, he starts off pretty good. And then during each of your standby phase, he increases. That can come in handy. And when face-up Fortune Lady monster you control destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon one Fortune Lady from your graveyard. So hopefully you'll have that water in the grave to, if you get to run over one of your opponent's monsters, you get to special summon the water and then draw 2 cards. And for the last monster, I put in one Chaos Sorcerer. I was kind of debating if I would be Blackluster Soldier or Chaos Soldier, but I ultimately went for Chaos Soldier, or Sorcerer I should say, because it's a spellcaster, and you know, it works well with the deck. And so that's the monster lineup. Let's get into the spells. So we do play quite a bit of spells in this deck. So the first one, and this one is really good card, really, you know, works well with the theme. If you control a Fortune Lady monster, you get to special summon one Fortune Lady from your deck with a different name from the cards you control. Also for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Synchro monsters. So you have to keep that in mind when you use that. You can only go into Synchro plays. But that's really good because, again, you get your light out and then you can search out the dark, or for vice versa, or if you just need to, search out a water and draw 2 cards. Then we have 3 of the Fortune Vision. I was debating on keeping this at 3 or putting it to 2, but when this card is activated, you get to add 1 Fortune Lady card from your deck to your hand. So that's really cool because it can take a monster or it can take this thing because it's a Fortune Lady card. And then once per turn, so this is a continuous spell, so it sits on the field. Once per turn, if a card you control is banished by a card effect, except during the damage step, you can activate this effect. And this turn, monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects, even if this card leaves the field. So it can really kind of, you know, save your monsters from being destroyed. And then if this card leaves the field, and then once per turn, if a card your opponent controls is banished by a card effect, you can make all battle damage you take this turn become 0. So really good card that if you have some cards that allow you to banish from your opponent's side, which I did add in this deck by way of these cards, Cosmic Cyclone. So you can banish their you know, on their turn, you set it on your turn, you banish one of their face downs or face ups or whatever, and then you can pretty much survive that turn from battle. Then for some draw power, we got 2 Allure of Darkness, because we are playing a lot of darks in this deck, and we don't mind banishing our Fortune Ladies because we have Fortune Future. I shall put it right here. So this is your other draw power of the deck. So basically you select one of your remove from play Fortune Lady monsters and return them to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. So you can see banishing in this deck is pretty good too. Then to add to the, you know, spellcaster draw support, I put in 1 Wonder Wand. Again, another reason why this was chosen. So you can actually special summon your Chaos Sorcerer. You get to banish 2 of your Fortune Ladies, one of the light, one of the dark, or one of the Fortune Fairies. And then you can Wonder Wand it away after you use your Chaos Sorcerer's effect, if you need to. And of course, I put in 2 Magical Mallets because you do draw like crazy, but then you could end up with a lot of hands where you have cards you don't need, like Fortune Lady Calling, you can only use it once per turn. Fortune Lady Vision, you can only use it once per turn. So if you draw into these cards with your water, you know, you can end up with a lot of dead stuff in your hands. So the Magical Mallet just helps to, you know, clean up your handle a little bit. And because you do get a lot of advantage from this deck, you do draw a lot of cards, the -1 you get off the Magical Mallet really doesn't matter so much. And then 1 Monster Reborn, because why not? You can reborn your water, you can reborn your opponent's monsters, whatever you need to do. And of course, because we're banishing, I put 2 different dimension reincarnations. It's pretty much like your Premature Burial, but it's for the banished monsters. You have to discard a card to use it, but again, you do draw like crazy in this deck, so... And then sometimes you might want a card in the graveyard. I mean, sometimes I would discard a water monster, or my Fortune Lady water, to bring back a Fortune Lady and then use Monster Reborn on the water. So it does work. And so that's our spell lineup. And let's get to the few traps that I play. So I play 2 of the Fortune Lady Rewind. Again, another Fortune Lady card that you can pull out with your Fortune Vision card. And this one, again, it works with the Banish pile. Target any number of banished Fortune Lady monsters with different names. Special summon them, but shuffle them into the deck during the end phase. You can only activate once per turn. So, I mean, this is a good mid to late game card, really. I mean, after you've banished a ton of monsters, you'd have to set this, you have to wait. But then, you know, you get the reward from it. And then I decided to try this one. It's kind of interesting. Dimmered Glimmer. You activate this card by banishing one face-up monster you control or one monster in your graveyard. So again, you do need to banish cards in this deck, so it really does help to do that. And then you get to normal summon a spellcaster, 0 attack, 0 defense, with the same level as the banished monster, and you can only activate it once per turn. So it just gives you a monster that you could use for synchro summoning or Xyz plays, whatever you need. So, and it banishes to kind of help you out. So that's the deck. Now for the extra deck, this extra deck does need work. I am missing a critical card, but I'll explain that. So I got Link Karibo and Borolo Dragon, just to have some Link summonings, easy to pull off if you need to. Because this deck does a lot of synchro summoning, the one card I am missing is Fortune Lady Every, I believe her name is. But you know, eventually I'll probably get a copy of that or a couple of copies of it. But until then, I'm using cards like Bronic because it's, you know, level 6. And you can get into level 6, you can get into level 7 and 8 pretty easily in this deck. So I just grab my generic level 6s, you know, Goyle Guardian. I know people probably don't play that anymore. Arcanite Magician, because you can pull it out. It's a it requires a spellcaster. And when this card is synchro summoned, you get to place 2 spellcasters on it. This card gains 1,000 attack for each spell counter on it. You can remove 1 spell counter from this to destroy 1 card your opponent controls. So this is always a fun card if you can pull that out. And then just for some more level 7s, I put in the Black Rose Moonlight Dragon and Black Rose Dragon, just to help you deal with monsters and stuff. And then I threw in Scrap Dragon because it's possible to pull out a level 8. Because there's a lot of level fixing in this deck. And then Trishula, because again, it's possible to pull it out. And then my standard lineup of Xyz monsters, level or rank 4s. So I got the Abyss Dweller, which is good because you do play the waters. Gaga Cowboy, just for game finishers. Utopia for some stall. Castel to destroy. Arc to remove your stubborn special summon monsters. And Digusto Emerald, just because he's a good card. And that's pretty much the deck. I mean, I would always open to suggestions. And like I said, I know I need that Fortune Lady Every. So you can, you know that should be in here. Anyways, hope you liked the deck. Let me know what your suggestions and thoughts are, if you've had any improvements, or, you know, what your success rate has been with Fortune Ladies. Fun deck, draws a lot of cards. Anyways, hope you liked the deck. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.